welcome to INC, everyone. We have today with us Sabina Mazo. She has 7 fights in the UFC, and she's coming off a win in the LFA, becoming their flyweight champion back on August 4th, only 15 days ago. So that's really fresh. So why don't we just get into your fighter origin story a little bit, Sabina? Why don't you tell us how you got into fighting exactly? What age were you? What got you into martial arts? And what made you kind of want to become an actual, career fighter?
Okay, so I started when I was 6 years old. And it was just like a hobby, honestly. I was never like introduced by family or no one. I just went to the gym. I liked the boxing class, the jiu-jitsu class, and here I am. It was just like pure passion since the right moment I started.
You said 16, right? Isn't that kind of old for most fighters? I feel like that's like a very old age to start training it at.
Oh, yeah, I believe so. I think yeah, I mean, but at the same time I was so intense with it. I trained every single day that it didn't matter the amount of time that I had in the sport or anything, because I was really, and I am very disciplined.
Clearly. So you have these 2 insane highlight reel knockouts. You had a stint in the LFA before you got to the UFC, and you have these 2 right head kick knockouts. For round 1, 4 minutes in, both of them. I presume that's what got the UFC's attention in you. So would you want to tell us a little bit about those knockouts? I mean, that's got to be some top career highlights.
Yeah, those were for sure a signature move that I had and everything. Um and it's kind of curious because one of the things that I took the longest to start training was striking. I started with jujitsu, a little bit of boxing too, but like no Muay Thai at all, no boxing until like I was, like a year into training. I was like, okay, I have to give it a try. But yeah, definitely that's something that I enjoy doing. Kicking, it's one of the parts that I enjoy a lot. And yeah, for sure they caught the attention of the UFC.
Awesome. So you said you started with jiu-jitsu. I see. Oh, you submitted Justine Kish in the UFC. That's one of your big wins. And then you have your 2 losses are via submission to Maria Agapova and Miranda Maverick, who are 2 UFC title contenders. Yeah, can you tell me about fighting those 2? I mean, that's got to be crazy to look back that those 2 are both. I think Agapova is up there for the title too, but isn't Miranda like maybe a fight or 2 away from the title herself? I mean, it's a loss on your record, but when I see that as a fan, it's an impressive loss. It's not anything to be embarrassed about.
No, I'm not embarrassed of any of my losses, honestly. And yeah, that's the UFC, it's a high level. You're competing against the top of the top. So, definitely, it's part of it. I learned a lot from it, and they made me who I am right now. So, yeah, I mean, they're great fighters, and hopefully in the future I can, fight them again.
Very cool. Is that your goal to get back to the UFC, or do you not even really think that far ahead? Is it really more one fight at a time?
Both, I do believe my that I will get back to UFC, but one fight at a time. So I'll probably make one more fight. I want to show my skills again. It's been, well, my last fight was 2 weeks ago, but before that I stayed like a little bit long away from fighting. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to fight again. And after that, probably, go back to UFC.
Very cool. So do you know anything about your next fight? Maybe it's a little too soon. Any idea about what that's going to be?
It's a little bit too soon because I don't really have any idea, but I mean, probably it's gonna be for the LFA.
Right, right. Well, you're the champ now, right? I mean, don't you want to defend that belt?
Or maybe 135, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, I'm looking forward to that. I'm pretty big girl, and I've been putting size, so I wanna test myself in 135.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I heard you say that in another interview. And are you still training at King's
Yeah.
MMA?
No, Black House MMA.
Black House. I'm sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. Very cool. So You fought in both the UFC and the LFA. Can you tell me what, as a fighter, what's the difference in experience? Like, you know, the week leading up to the event, the way the staff treat you, the perks, the benefits. Can you tell us the difference between those two organizations from the fighter perspective?
Yeah, so I have the fortune that in both organizations, the staff has been amazing. Honestly, I feel like it's a very familiar space in both of them. LFA, there's the same crew, they treat you very well. They care about the fighter, and same thing, the UFC is just bigger staff, from the therapy, for nutrition, for recovery, for the staff that are doing everything in fight week, the security. So it's a bigger family, but it's very familiar, honestly. And I was very fortunate that I had that good relationship with everyone over there. But UFC is a bigger show, so everything the LFA does is like twice or triple the size. So more interviews, more pictures, more lights, more of that entertainment part. So, but honestly, yeah, LFA, it's a great show, and also LFA has a lot of fighters that are hungry to get to the UFC. So I guess that's why a lot of the fights are very exciting, because it's that pathway to the UFC, and everyone wants that. So yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Well, the first interview I did was with Jonas Bilharino. I'm not sure if you know him. He fights in the LFA.
Yeah, yeah, really
Very,
good.
yeah, very friendly
Now
guy.
in Bellator. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Sorry, cutting in and out a little bit. Didn't mean to cut you off there. I had a question. Since you've been in the UFC a little bit, do you have a relationship with Dana White?
Not directly with Dana White, no.
So you've never like interacted with him or anything?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Like in the fights and everything, but I mean, I don't have like a personal relationship right now with him.
Gotcha. I was just wondering, like, do you have any cool Dana stories? I've never really talked to anyone that knows Dana, so I thought I would ask.
No, I mean, he's a pretty good guy, He knows what he does. He's dominant, but yeah, no, not like cool stories, no.
Okay, no problem. So I know that you've trained a lot with Benil Dariush. I was wondering what other fighters that everyone would know that you either trained with or are close to. Everyone likes to know those connections.
Yeah, well, I used to train a lot with Benny. He's my friend and really, really good fighter. Nowadays, here at Black House, I train with two UFC fighters, Pira Rodriguez, 115 pounds, and Jacqueline Cavalcanti. She's gonna make her UFC debut on September 2nd. So they're my main training partners right now.
Very cool. Um, all right. And then I always like to ask about fighter pay. And you're going to have an interesting perspective having been in, I mean, I see you fought in LFA. I'm not familiar with these two others you fought in 2015, but between LFA and UFC, what's
Mhm.
your take on fighter pay and your experience with that? I mean, I know it's very tough for some people to fully dedicate themselves to fighting. You know, you have to be a coach on the side or train on the side or have some kind of side income usually, which makes it tough to commit yourself to the sport. So what's your experience been with that in terms of, finances?
You know, I believe that you don't deserve, you gotta earn your paycheck. And a lot of people criticize like the amount of money that UFC gives or whatever, but I also feel like people cannot just start winning like a lot of money just getting one fight in the UFC. Build yourself. So I believe UFC pays very well. If you do your job well, they're gonna pay you. For sure, we always want more. We always want more, so we're gonna always ask for more, and that's normal for the human beings, everyone who doesn't. But yeah, I was fortunate to have a good paycheck there. For sure, I have my side stuff that I do and everything, but nowadays, after being in the UFC, getting out, and hopefully in the future going back in, I will definitely not just count with that paycheck from fighting, I guess. And it's also sane for your own mind that you have other stuff, it's not only fighting.
Hmm.
It's not, doesn't mean you're going to take your attention to it, but we are capable, or I'm capable of doing multiple things. And so yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Got it. Do you think does it take away from kind of the fighter's journey to have to worry about finances and other stuff? You mentioned nutrition too. Do you find that it is maybe difficult sometimes to commit 100% to fighting when you do have to worry about like normal people stuff like bills and you know normal worker
No,
stuff?
I do work with nutrition with some people, but I don't think, if you organize yourself like well, I think you're capable of doing everything. And honestly, we're just not just fighting, we're fighters, but we're also, I don't know, I'm a daughter, or I have a partner, or there's multiple things that you should be doing. For sure, you're gonna prioritize your fighting, and whenever I have a fight, I leave some stuff behind or in a side so I can continue the fight. But as soon as I fight, I continue my work and everything. So, and like I don't have kids and everything, but how does fighters that have kids do? So I don't know. I feel we gotta handle our things and be able to do everything.
Did you use the UFC Performance Institute a lot? You kind of implied that the UFC have like nutrition and training stuff. So is that all through the Performance Institute, or are there other perks that they offer fighters even when you're not in Vegas?
Yeah, I used the PI a lot when I was there. It's really good. I mean, they offer you everything, so it's very useful.
Yeah, no, it seems amazing. Like everyone is really excited that they're doing that for the fighters. I was wondering, when you're not in Vegas for the UFC, do they still offer any kinds of perks like that, like help with dieting and nutrition and stuff?
For sure, nutrition, they deliver food for the fighter. So even not being there, you still have access to a lot of benefits.
Got it. And does LFA compare with those benefits at all, or is it not quite comparable?
No, 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 it's not comparable, no. In that sense, no.
Got it. What's the experience like? Because I know the UFC, you basically are not allowed to have any sponsorships unless they allow it, right? Like Monster, I guess, is one that they allow for some fighters. Is it a different experience in LFA? Do you deal with sponsors for that differently?
Yeah, well, LFA for sure you can put any sponsorships that you have. Um, so I mean, personally, I like better not to worry about sponsors and clothing and anything. And just get the paycheck from Venom, let's say. But other fighters prefer to have their own, clothing and putting their own brands and sponsors. But that's the difference between LFA and UFC.
Got it. I'm uh I'm through all my prepared questions. Is there anything you want to talk about, or kind of the people to watch out for, coming up in your career, or anything like that? Anything you want to shout out?
Stay tuned because I want to fight again. I want to fight and test myself at 135. So if people yeah, just be there because I know my potential. So don't miss it.
Very cool. Well, then I'm ready for rapid fire if you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, here we go. Number one, UFC or LFA?
UFC.
Go to easy dinner.
What do you mean? Go to or easy dinner?
Your favorite meal to make for dinner that's easy and not a lot of effort.
Um, Oatmeal?
For dinner?
Sure.
Okay. What's your favorite type of training?
Right now, lifting weights.
Weights. Me too. What is your favorite hobby besides fighting?
I guess sleep.
Very smart. I think they're linked together, but I'll take it. What were you afraid of as a child?
Spiders.
Okay. Are you still afraid of spiders?
Not that much.
Okay. What do your friends call you? Like nicknames?
Not much. Just Sabi.
Sabi. Do you floss every day?
What do you mean? Yes, for sure.
Okay. And would you rather fight a bigger woman or a smaller man?
Bigger woman.
Okay. That's all I've got for you, Sabina. I feel like I'm not as long-winded as usual. I don't know. It
Thank.
was an
That
it
was
was a,
fun.
it was an honor to talk to you though, and maybe we'll talk again after your next fight. We'll have an update and we'll see where things are.
Okay, sounds good.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
I'll be in touch. I'll
Thank
let you
you.
know when it goes up.
Okay.
Bye. Take care.